It's good to know that at least the small work that we are doing is touching some lives.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, sure.
myself personally, I felt it's good to share your experience. People can easily relate, because when I was going through the process, even though I was a little well traveled and all, I was surprised the lack of information that was out there. Like, things are changing every day. People are not sharing their experiences. So I said, let me just share my own and see what will happen. So it's good to
Yeah,
know at least people are learning from it. Currently, what I'm starting a new series, and the whole concept is just to talk to people, just to share their experiences, because no two experiences are the same. That's one thing I've realized. Even though we are both here, we all have different experiences. When you were saying that you didn't prepare for the code, yeah, I same thing. I prepared for the code, but I got here and I realized I wasn't ready.
my like what happened to me was very funny in the sense that I got out of the like I came down from the plane. I took my luggage, one of them anyways, because the other one was delayed. All right. So I took my luggage and I was bouncing out. And then I got out of the airport. I had to run back inside.
Mm.
I ran back inside because the code was Jesus. It was something else. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that feeling, when you open the airport's exit door, you open and the code hits you. I picked I picked one lady from the airport last week, and she was like, "Oh, I'm ready for the code." Then as soon as we got to the exit door and the door opened like this, and she stepped out, she was like, "No,
Ah,
I'm not ready."
no, 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 no. I ran back inside and then I opened my box immediately, brought out some more clothes. I was just putting it on. People were like, "Is it that bad?" I said, "Yes, it is. It is."
So, but why Canada? Where did the whole dream start from?
Well, it started from, I would say, many years back, precisely when I finished secondary school.
Okay.
I always had this dream to leave Nigeria. It wasn't just the right time.
Oh, okay. So, which school are you studying in Canada now?
Red River College.
Oh, okay. That one is just my back here.
Okay. Actually, I came in through the University of Manitoba. Realized very quickly that there's no point doing another 4 year degree, having done a 4 year degree in Nigeria. So I just wanted to like because the whole thing was a jackpot thing, yeah. I I wanted to like, the idea for coming here to start with is not necessarily because I want to study. It's
Yeah,
not
I get.
that concept. I just wanted to like relocate and I looked at my options and I said, okay, what could be the most likely option for me to just leave the country? And then I looked at the study route and then yeah,
Oh, so
made
that
the
means
decision.
you changed from University of Manitoba to Red River when you landed. I have people reaching out to me about changing, and they are afraid it's not possible. So how did you do it? And was it difficult?
Um, to be honest, I can't say it was difficult. I can't say it was easy.
Okay.
I'll say I'll say it's just somewhere in between
Mm,
because it requires a lot of hard work.
okay.
It requires you knowing exactly what you want because there's obviously many options with regards to programs and all of that. So what I did basically is I got into Winnipeg on the 3rd of February.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the University of Manitoba, like I had courses registered in my from Nigeria back home. I started from the
Okay.
10th of January. So upon reaching here, I realized that it doesn't make sense to do a 4 year course and all of that. So I switched to Red River. How I did that is very simple. Well, maybe to me it might be simple, but to another person it might not really be simple. I think I was asked to write an essay for my course, creative communication. As I was asked to write an essay about 600 words, I think. I was asked to create a resume. I was asked to, of course, tender my O level, although the transcript from my school. that I submitted wasn't really, as in, it had zero impact. That zero impact. It was just there for, I would say, just the feel good factor and all of that stuff. So yeah, that was basically it. And they did some verifications. I was asked to get scratch cards, YX scratch card, and all this happened within a month, basically.
After you've
So
landed, or
yeah,
before you landed?
no, it wasn't like I did it immediately after I landed. All right, so I did lectures with University of Manitoba for, I think, from February to late February. So it was around that late February period, towards, I think, from 20th. I can't really remember exactly, from 20th upwards, between 20th and the last day of February. I decided to, pick up an application with the Red River College, and that was it. I started the application. Of course, I already mentioned the requirements, what they require from me. That was basically it.
So
I guess the challenging part, I would say, is the essay. All right.
okay.
The essay you have to write. That's for me the challenging part. And provided you have, of course, you have your study permit, there's nothing like you're already in Canada, so they won't need you to like apply and all of that stuff. Of course, you have your passport, you have your visa. They'll ask for those things too. Three
Okay.
thousand
So
dollars.
you didn't have to reapply for a new study permit. It was the old one that you
No, no.
continued.
My study permit was enough because I creative communication is like a 2-year program,
Okay.
so there was no need for reapplying and all of that stuff. I had everything covered.
But one thing too, I have people always complain about is that how many applications they have to submit. So in your case, how many schools did you apply to before you even got accepted into University of Manitoba?
I actually applied for University of Manitoba only, and I got it. I think I got that admission less than 3 weeks. Less than
Wow.
3 weeks.
But why University of Manitoba? Because you are now at Red River. So didn't you see Red River before, or University of Winnipeg or Brandon?
Um. Okay. This is how it is. I did the visa application myself,
Mm,
but the admission and all of that, an agent got it done for me. So he got me the admission. The visa process I did myself. So he only had contact for University of Manitoba. And originally, it wasn't like I had it all planned from Nigeria that I would come and change and all of that. When I got to church, some persons just like, "Guy, you can switch," and I was like, "Really? I can switch?" I didn't know all this information from Nigeria, and I was like, "Okay, fine. How do I do it?" And they guided me. They said I should go to there's this part of every school, the international arm of every institution.
yeah,
So
that's the International Students
yes, so
Support
when
Center.
you go there, or you can even email them from your home country. Either you email them, or you when you get there, you just go to meet them. And then I went there. They were like, "Yeah, it's possible that I can actually switch." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, okay, but if there's one advice that you give anybody who is applying for schools, what would that advice be?
I would say be strategic, because I used to tell people what I did with regards to IRCC. I literally put them in a box and I surrounded them with my machineries. They were just there in the box.
Well,
They were there, confused. They looked right, left, front, back. They don't know what to do, so they had no option but to just issue me the visa, basically. So what I would say is be strategic. Know what you want to do here in Canada. Of course, it's a lot
mm,
of money. It's a lot of money. You can't come to Canada and you want to not know what are actually here to do. So it doesn't make sense because the money is too much. And of course, you should know that whatever you are doing here in Canada should correspond with what you have done before.
okay.
like myself, studying creative communication now, I read computer science back home. So
Yeah.
there is a correlation between both. So it has to be, it's not just about I want to come to Canada, because the visa officer will look at the relationship between what you want to do in Canada, or what you have already done. Okay. So just being strategic, also being sincere is going to help.
Okay.
Being sincere is going to help, because as much as you want to put them in a box, like I said earlier, you don't want to do it in a way that you use fraudulent documents, because once they get a loophole, even that box, as that box is, once they see a tiny loophole and they can see any light rail from that loophole, they will dig in, they will dig in deep into it. And when they do, of course, best believe that your chances of getting a Canadian visa is is as good as gone, because they will surely detect it and the rest will be history.
So
There
if
are
I
things
get
we
you,
must try.
basically putting them in the boxes, trying to make sure that you give them the information that they've asked for, taking all the boxes that they don't have any
Exactly.
reason.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not missing one. Not missing
Mm.
one. Because everything must, and again, if you have uh documents, you have like proof, you need to prove. I did that. Okay, where is the proof? The only thing you can't prove basically is all the organs in your body. Yeah. You can't prove that. You just can't prove them. But as long as there are things you can prove, you just have to prove it.
How has the experience been before the interview? We were just about the Winnipeg weather. How has the experience been? Did you know anybody in Winnipeg before coming? And how did you plan when you were coming in terms of settling in and all that?
Okay. I don't know anybody here. Like, I don't have any family, anybody, no friend, nothing. Um, with regards to the weather, how I prepared, of course, with the help of videos of persons like you, uh, I was able to, like, figure out. I was just I was just scouting for information, like
Yeah.
I'll look at here, okay, this is useful. I'll look at here, this is that. And with regards to where or how I was able to get my accommodation, there is this website called roomies.car.
Okay.
Yeah, roomies.car. It's actually a very, very good website. I didn't really have to do much. Yeah, I just created the account, uploaded my picture, like did everything. I told them, I described exactly what I want. Yeah. And one fateful day, my landlord just messaged me. It wasn't like I had to, like, you know, talk to people and all of that. The guy just messaged me and it was like, "Hey, I have an apartment. I have this. Do you want to see it and all of that?" So we did like an online house tour. Okay, we
Okay.
did an online house tour, and I was okay with it.
So that means you landed and you went straight into the house.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
really,
yeah.
nobody picked you from the airport or anything. You just find your way.
The
Wow.
the the taxi. I actually took a taxi from the airport to the house.
Most people land and they find difficult finding their way around. At least you were able to maneuver
Uh,
through the addressing system and all that.
that is why information is key.
So are you working now? Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
how is
currently
it how easy was it finding work? And how soon did you find work when you landed?
it wasn't easy. Oh. It wasn't easy. I if you can be very smart about your resume, but you will get a lot of no's. There will be a lot of rejections. There will be a lot of and all of that. But don't let that get to your head. That's why you need to
Yeah.
be very strong mentally
Mm.
to
Most
survive.
people get frustrated the moment they see one or two or three denials, they get frustrated because
Yeah,
they don't realize that all you need is 1 year. So when you came in, what are some of the cultural shocks that you experienced personally?
where I came in from, that is where I came from, Nigeria. We are very, very, very disorganized.
Yeah.
Very, very disorganized. How organized this place is. In fact, everything is like everyone is a living robot. We
Mm.
we we literally have everything programmed. Once you miss it, you've missed it.
It's a system, and you are just
And
part
that
of the
is it.
system.
So that one got me. Yeah. That one got to me. The system doesn't wait for you. You have to wait for the system. Especially with regards to the boss. You know, you come a minute later, the boss is gone. The boss doesn't wait, you know. So yeah, that's what
Mm.
got to me.
So, Manitobans, we cannot meet without talking about the code. So, how was your experience with the code, the weather when you came in?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
A build character.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, especially when I have to stay outside. Like when you take a bus to a place where you need to take like a transfer or something, and then you are
Yeah.
there waiting for the bus for like
For like
10 to 15
if
minutes in that terrible cold. My God, it's not easy.
that's when you start thinking
Not
about
easy.
going back home.
I'm telling you, see, this depression thing people talked about, it's actually real. I'll not lie. Again, that was why I mentioned earlier that you need to be strong mentally strong. Because if you are not, I don't know how you're going to survive. I really don't
And
know
you also
how
need people.
you're going to survive.
You need people around you too. People who can also at least motivate you and everything, so that you don't feel like you are alone.
Yeah, yeah. Don't really expect that you are coming to meet, like everybody here will treat you as though you are with your family back home. No. It's
Yeah.
it's it's not so. But if you can make a couple of good friends, uh, that's where networking comes to play. You have to try to, mingle, try to create a network that
Mm.
will help you as well, because once the depression kicks in like 100%, and these guys are around you guys will cheer each other up and everything will make sense. So
Okay. So just my last question. So, what are some of the 3 points that maybe if somebody is sitting across you right now and trying to apply to come to Canada, 3 things that you tell them to at least do or focus on?
have a plan.
That's important. I keep telling people.
In fact, I feel like that is the only uh, advice I can give anybody. Have a plan.
Hmm. Okay, then I'll add a second
Because
one. Have money.
that is where planning, that is still part of the planning,
Yeah.
because you have to look at your purse. You see,
Yeah.
that's your treasure, that's your central bank you have in your house. You have to look at it very well. When you look at it very well, then you now know. Because first of all, before things begin to kick in, that is before everything begin to come into fruition, before you begin to enjoy the system and exploit the system and all of that, the first year, without money, you
Hmm.
just come to Canada, you didn't come with any money, nothing, just came empty. You think, okay, there is job, when I come here I'll get a job. You're in trouble. Finance is key.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I wouldn't want to take so much of your time. I really appreciate you sharing your experience with
Yeah.
people. And if at least we're able to touch one person today, like how I was able to touch you through just sharing my experience, then I'll say
Hmm.
our work has been done.
Hmm.
So do you have a YouTube that you want to shout out, or so that people can at least jump on you and try to follow your experience too?
LZ World. LZ World, that's the
Okay.
name. That's the name. So I will have like some from time to time uh content coming up on that particular channel. even though it's not loaded yet with content, but I will definitely look out for that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.